Okay, so another message while my daughter is playing. That was like clear as day, and I don't have a pen and paper, but I know I have to put this there. Sure, my daughter can hear me. Listen, God is like telling someone here that once you're forgiven for something, like He cleans a clean slate. You start over, you're reborn, you're different. This is why He died for us. This is why He sacrificed for us. So the battle that we're dealing with, that we're thinking like, oh, I will never be forgiving, I will never be enough, I will never be this, shaming and guilting yourself, it's like you're repeating the same karmic wheel. Like, you know how a rat, you put a rat and you put it something like some food, and then it will go over the wheel and it will try to catch the food. But the thing is, it's like you already have the food, so it's an illusion. You already have the food, so you're going after something, dealing with the same thing over and over. But you already have the salvation. You already have the problem already has a solution within you. So someone needs to hear this also. Like, just like, God forgives everything. Forgives, well, when you do your repentance, you go convicted, you get delivered, right? For whatever situation, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. For a lot of you want to get into spirituality, know that nobody's perfect, that spirituality is not this perfect thing, and also it's like spirituality is God. Completely surrendering, right? Is that what your spirituality is about? It has nothing to do with crystals, tarot, none of that. That's just tools. It's your spirituality involves God. Like, who are you serving? Right? God is one thing. It's all about forgiveness. He knows that we have to keep people grace, and He knows that today was very clear today. He said, when I forgive you, not only is for you to, because He knows already, you have a goal and a purpose and a destiny here, okay? So He already added all those like sins and things that will delay, all of that. He's already calculated all of that. You, on the other hand, you have to prove by doing good deeds, by being a good person, cleaning your heart and doing the work that you got to do, and continue being obedient and having faith for Him, and do His commandments, like all the 7 sins and stuff like that. Like, do the work. Spirituality is work. Shadow work, the colonization is everything, right? You can't skip step. I keep saying this. Like, listen, you have to be kind of like Christ consciousness. You have to forgive and give grace to others, but it does not mean reconnecting. That goes back to that message that I just posted before this one. But do what He tells you. Forgive and forget. If you're not forgetting, there's a lot of healing that needs to work on there. And I know for a lot of you this is going to be triggering, but I'm telling you, you gotta. Okay, basically the point of the whole thing is that the way how you judge others, how you treat others, how you think of others, how you feel about others, how you behave towards others will come back to you. Okay? So this is so important to why you need to check on your own energy and not depend on other people's energy, situations, or things. This is why. You'll have a responsibility to, have, just like any relationship, it needs time, commitment, space, moment to hear things clearly. Don't be afraid to ask for time of silence, times alone, and stuff like that. Like, you need that. It's like actually it's respected. I find that not everybody needs their own way of how to recharge, how to recuperate. It's not always overgiving. Just forgive, okay? So I feel it's because a lot of people are going to start acting unconscious, right? A lot of people are going to start acting in a certain weird, odd behavior, okay? Especially if you're someone who's standing up for themselves, if you're doing something like completely out of your comfort zone, right? You're completely standing up for yourself, you're doing things differently, right? You're learning how to also forgive yourself for things that you've done in the past. You're moving on, you're healing that stuff. That's beautiful. That's part of a breaking cycle, is not staying stuck in the past. That is how you also break the karmic wheel, right? And you start building good seeds because you want to be better than you were yesterday, right? So having that Christ consciousness talks all about that. So when you decide that, this is where you have usually encounters with Christ, because you're learning how to forgive yourself and how to forgive others, how to give people grace, right? Yeah. Also take your space, Anyways, I had to go back, but this message is not for people like, it's basically for people who have let go of abusive, kind of control and manipulative situations, relationship, or anything of that matter. And God is kind of telling you, I don't know if it's related to that where he says no for that clairvoyant message or whatever, but I feel like this is for someone to understand, like, when God says no, it's no, and it's for your protection, okay? And even if it's tempting, even if it's like, don't do it, don't go back, okay? If not, this is your choice. We all have free will. Everyone has free will. Yes, even those that he has destined and created, like, love, beautiful love stories, even those stories don't even really made it to the page, made it to be written, made it to be, even though he hates that, he doesn't want it. He wants to see all this beautiful love story happen, but sometimes it doesn't happen because most people have free will, and most people right now, are choosing comfort. Most people right now are choosing like the flesh, being a lustful spirit, really not take accountability or responsibility, be aware of those things, the shadow, right? Like, this is why a lot of people need Jesus. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people say like, oh, spirituality and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah? So people cannot survive the reality of really spirituality, because most of the stuff, it's a lot of spiritual work. It's constantly fighting in the spirit, because you become super sensitive when you let go of the flesh, right? When you're strong in your mind, right? This is where the real work comes in. This is why you feel this fire, this passion to be with Christ, to like, get all the right confirmation, discernment, and like that really helps you with your purpose and your goals. And that your foundation starts from the ground up, but it's like really good foundation when it's with him. So don't think that this is just gonna be easy for you. It's just that's part. Yeah, a lot of you're not choosing the easy route. You're using the hard route, and this is where God comes in. You can't do this work by yourself. Is that what you thought this was gonna be? Come on. Breaking generational curses, poverty consciousness, breaking cycles. How are you gonna do that if you're not forgiving? You're using compassion and grace. That's another thing. It's like now he wants me to deliver messages and stuff like that. I'm like, why? Like, I'm like in this place for just a couple of days, but then I'm leaving. But it's just like he's downloading messages over and over. And it's like, okay. But it is a place where I feel uncomfortable, so he's trying to use it for his benefit, right? But also at the same time, it's like a test on itself, lessons on itself. Will you continue in places where I put you, in places where it's uncomfortable? Will you still listen to me? Will you still, and that's love. God works.